In 1944, during World War II, the B-29 Superfortress bomber faced severe challenges that marked its history with tragic accidents. On August 10, one of these imposing aircraft crashed near Natal, Brazil. Everything indicates that a fire in one of the engines caused the crash, leading to the explosion of the aircraft due to the fuel it was carrying. The crew was virtually decimated, with only one member surviving with minor injuries. Shortly thereafter, on September 18 of the same year, another B-29 mysteriously disappeared in the Atlantic Ocean shortly after taking off from Natal. Without any communication or distress signal, the entire crew was reported missing, likely victims of a serious mechanical failure during flight. These events revealed the systemic problems with the Curtiss-Wright R-3350 engines, which frequently overheated and caught fire, representing a true nightmare for mechanics and engineers. Overheating could cause catastrophic failures, such as fires that melted vital parts of the bomber's structure, compromising not only sections of the engine but also wings and entire hydraulic systems. To further exacerbate the situation, these complex 18-cylinder engines required rigorous and specialized maintenance, which was not always possible in wartime conditions. In addition to the technical difficulties, the inexperience of the crews, resulting from the rush in training in light of technological advancements and the urgent need to deploy aircraft for combat, increased the operational risks. Missions were often long, some lasting up to 14 hours of flight, imposing enormous physical and emotional strain on the flight teams. Years later, in 1950, a new disaster marked the history of the B-29. In Fairfield, Suisun, California, a bomber exploded while transporting a nuclear payload, resulting in the deaths of 12 people, including Brigadier General Robert F. Travis, commander of the 9th Bombardment Wing. This incident also highlighted the incredible dangers associated with the transportation of nuclear armaments, a theme that would dominate the Cold War. The B-29 Superfortress was born out of an urgent need during World War II. The United States needed a heavy bomber capable of crossing the vast Pacific, reaching Japan, and returning safely. To achieve this, Boeing designed a gigantic pressurized aircraft, the first of its kind with unprecedented range and capacity to carry very heavy bombs at high altitudes. Its pressurized cabin allowed the crew to operate at high altitudes without suffering the adverse effects of falling atmospheric pressure. A radical advancement compared to previous bombers, which exposed crew members to extreme conditions. From the early prototypes, the B-29 proved to be as dangerous for its crews as it was for the enemies. During tests in 1943 and 1944, the greatest nightmare was the Wright R-3000. Technological challenges that frequently failed. These radial engines, with 18 cylinders arranged in 2 layers, delivered the necessary power to lift that 32-ton monster, but had a fatal flaw: easy overheating. Any small leak of fuel or oil could turn the entire nacelle, the housing that contains each engine, into a fireball. Many B-29 seconds were destroyed on the ground, not by enemy attacks, but simply because an engine caught fire during tests, training, or evaluation flights. One of the most notable accidents occurred when a test B-29 crashed into a residential neighborhood in Seattle, killing dozens of people on the ground, one of the largest civilian tragedies associated with aviation accidents during the war. Other prototypes also met their fate during tests, such as in Wichita, Kansas, where one of the production lines was located, and where several B-29 seconds caught fire during evaluation flights, prompting urgent design and procedural improvements. There were even dramatic episodes in which the aircraft simply exploded in mid-air due to uncontrolled fires, causing instant deaths for entire crews. When the B-29 finally entered combat in the Pacific theater, the technical problems did not disappear. B-29 seconds were dispatched from remote bases, such as the Mariana Islands, on bombing missions that could last over 12 hours. Flying over enemy seas and territories. Extreme fatigue, logistical difficulties, constant engine failures, and communication defects drastically increased the risks. Many planes never returned, either shot down by anti-aircraft artillery and Japanese fighters, or lost to mechanical failures or navigational accidents. There were even cases where crews reported in-flight fires and parts of the aircraft breaking off, indicating structural fragility under extreme conditions. In addition to the inherent dangers of bombing missions, the B-29 was used in operations that marked military history worldwide. In August 1945, 2 B-29 seconds entered forever into the memory of humanity. The Enola Gay, commanded by Paul Tibbets, and the Boxcar. Both dropped the first atomic bombs in history on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, respectively. The resulting devastation, in addition to shortening the war, initiated a nuclear era in the world, with ethical, military, and political impacts that resonate to this day. However, these legendary flights did not hide the daily difficulties faced by the B-29 and its crews. In the previous years, many B-29 seconds from that unit had already been lost, victims of routine accidents and engine failures, showing that the technological apparatus, although advanced, was vulnerable and not always reliable. After World War II, the B-29 was not immediately retired. It continued to be used intensively during the Korean War, where it faced a different threat: the powerful MiG-15 jet fighters, much faster and more agile. While the B-29 flew high and slowly, the MiG-15 seconds used their speed to shoot down bombers, a challenge that forced tactical adaptations, such as night missions to reduce risks. Even so, losses did not cease, and in addition to enemy attacks, malfunctions and fires continued to bring down aircraft. Even in peacetime, the B-29 was involved in tragedies. In 1953, during tests near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, a B-29 crashed, killing the entire crew. Additionally, during secret nuclear programs in the 1,950 seconds, several B-29 seconds were used as test platforms, with some destroyed in experimental atomic explosions, reflecting the critical role the aircraft played not only in combat but also in military research of that era. Throughout its career, nearly 4,000 B-29 seconds were built, but hundreds lost their lives in flight accidents, fires, mechanical failures, and emergency landings. The plane that burned Tokyo and dropped the atomic bombs also left a trail of destruction and death in domestic accidents, ocean disappearances, and disintegrations during tests. From a technological standpoint, the B-29 was a revolution in many ways. It was the first military aircraft to have a pressurized cabin, enabling flights at high altitudes and safer conditions for the crew. It also incorporated an advanced fire control system that used analog computers to remotely control the gun turrets, enhancing defensive effectiveness without exposing gunners directly to enemy fire. The bomber was equipped with 5.50 Browning M2 caliber machine gun turrets, including a tail turret with a 20 mm cannon, remotely controlled by a fire officer using a computer sighting system to calculate shots, taking into account speed, distance, altitude, temperature, and humidity, an impressive technological innovation for the time. This provided it with defensive superiority capable of dispensing with fighter escorts on certain missions, something unprecedented at that time. The total cost of the design and production of the B-29 exceeded $3 billion at the time, making it the most expensive military program during World War II. Even surpassing the famous Manhattan Project, this demonstrates the strategic importance and massive investment made to ensure air superiority over Japan, establishing the B-29 as a symbol of American technological and industrial might. In addition to its role as a strategic bomber, the B-29 was also adapted for night operations with incendiary bombs, used to devastate Japanese industrial urban areas with napalm. These operations had a profound destructive effect, exacerbating the impact on Japanese infrastructure.